joining this seminar. All right, it's been, so I think I shall start the opening line. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the international seminar, international symposium series of Master Education Department, the 5th installment. So before we start the session, let me have the pre-event opening. So ladies and gentlemen, please, you can prepare yourself to join the symposium because it will start in no time. So to keep the good atmosphere during the symposium, you can activate your camera and mute your microphone while you're not sharing. In this symposium, later in the third session, the committee will share you the attendance form in the chat box. So make sure that you write down your name, your identity, and your email address correctly, because it will be used in the certificate. And the certificate is only available for those who have fulfilled the payment of the certificate. Thank you. Yeah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I will right now.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Pupuji and Paniti. How are you?
Yeah, Paniti is.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah. The speakers are ready and join us in the virtual room, Paniti and also Bujiati. Thank you for joining us, Paniti and also Bujiati. Shall we start now, Siti Raini? All right, thank you. All right, good morning, participants, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable, the Director of Postgraduate Program, Universitas PGRI Semarang, Dr. Ngaspul. The Honorable, the Head of Master English Education, Universitas PGRI Semarang, Ibu Siti Nuraini, PhD. The respectable speakers, Paniti Amata Yakul, PhD, and Pujiati, PhD, and all participants. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the virtual International Symposium Series, the 5th installment. The topic for the 5th installment is English for Specific Purposes from the perspective of academia and real-life context. I'm Ajeng Stiorini. I'll be the moderator for this symposium, and it's such a great opportunity for us to have discussion with the speakers and other participants later. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the agenda today, let me share you the details of the rundown. The symposium will start by 8:45 with the first speaker, and then it will last for 45 minutes, and then proceed with the second session at 9:30 to 10:15. And in the third session, there will be question and answer session. And by 11:30, I will deliver the closing session of the symposium. Well, if you have questions later regarding or related to the materials delivered today, don't be hesitate to let me know, to let others know by tapping them down on the chat box, or you can raise your hand later to deliver your question. All right. Get ready for the first session, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it is my profound, everyone, to introduce our speakers. The first one will be Paniti Amata Yakul, PhD, and Pujiati, PhD. And the first will be Paniti Amata Yakul. She is now joining us on the virtual room. She is a lecturer from Raja Mangala University of Technology, Lana, Thailand. She is a lecturer at the Department of Business English Faculty of Business Administration and Liberal Arts. Paniti's interest is in English for specific purposes, teaching and learning, and her research focuses on business English. So she is the expert, I think, on English specific purposes, especially on business English. So today she will bring a topic entitled Business English and Field Practice. Without further ado, everyone, let us call upon Paniti Amata Yakul. Hello, Paniti. Good morning. Sorry, I think you need to unmute your microphone.
Oh, sorry. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
A bit
Vanity.
exciting.
Yeah. Morning. So good to see you here.
Quite early in the morning.
Yeah. Okay. Are you awake now?
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I will share my screen.
All right.
Uh, so now can you see my
Yeah.
slide?
Yes.
Okay, this is in the
Clearly.
view of the viewer, right? It's not in the view of the presenter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
viewer's view.
You
Okay. Okay.
clearly.
Okay, so my topic today is business English and field practice. But first of all, I would like to greet all of you. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank the organizing team for inviting me to this very interesting symposium. I am honored to be here as a presenter. And like you see that my topic is about business English. And as I work in Thailand, so I will share you some of my experience about business English teaching in Thailand. Um, I myself was a student of a business English at RMUTL or Ratchamangala University of Technology, Lana. When I think in 1997, and then after that I have been a teacher, a business English teacher. From that moment, it takes about maybe more than 10 years now. So I have had experiences in this field as both a student and as a teacher. So today I will maybe I say like I share some of my experience with you all. Might be better than like I give a talk or something like that. Maybe like I share some of my experience in this field to you. So for my sorry, okay, it doesn't move. Okay. So for my topic today, okay, my presentation outline for today is like this. So I will start with introduction to business English. So to give you some idea about what is business English in short. And then after that, I will talk about backgrounds to business English in Thailand. And then we will move on to look at current situation of business English in Thailand. And then finally, we will conclude with the future of business English in Thailand. So I will now begin my talk with, why it doesn't move, okay. I will now begin my talk with the characteristic of business English, or sometimes we all call them as the English for business purposes. So according to the literature, business English is integration between English for academic purposes or EAP and English for occupational purposes or EOP. These two kinds of English is under the big umbrella that we call English for specific purposes or ESP. We said business English under these two groups because business English can be taught in organization for working people, and business English can also taught in like academic context, like in the Thai university that we taught them as a course, like a subject, like a course, like a program in the Thai university, in the university context, in the academic context. So that's why we put business English in both two groups. sometimes it's quite confused because some said that ESP might be for the EOP, not EAP, but for business English, it can be both because for itself, like for business administration students, they also need to learn some of the technical terms to work if they want to work in the international company. So business English can be both, like I said, can be English for academic purposes and can be English for occupational purposes. In Thailand, business English is also a part of like teaching English as a foreign language, because in Thailand, our official language is Thai, but English is like foreign language. So business English is also falls into another group that we call like TEFL, or teaching English as a foreign language as well. So again, from the literature, I'm sorry, I have a problem with with my slides. It quite takes time, so I'm sorry for this. So maybe my computer doesn't wake up yet. Okay, so now again, based on the literature, business English in academic context aims to fulfill student business professional needs. Thus, it includes professional skills such as presentation, such as language skills, especially the specialized business vocabularies or something like that, and also specific subject knowledge like marketing, management, or some kinds of business knowledge. As a result, many scholars such as Belcher, Donner, and Jones suggested that business English courses should be designed according to the needs of the students and also according to the requirement of the labor market. And also the people who involved in this field, in the business English teaching, are not only teachers, but also the students, university, the government, prospective employers, and parents. So to put all of this together, we design the business English program. But to give you like some idea about the business English in Thailand in general. So we now move on to look at business English in Thai context. So in Thailand, business English have been teaching in 3 forms. That is to say, like it is taught as short courses, business English course, like a short courses in private language centers, such as British Council or like AUA, American Consulate, something like that. And also as a core subject in vocational curriculum for vocational student, like we call certificate of vocational student. So there are core courses for the student who are majoring in business administration. And the last group is as a degree in higher education as a program, like business English program, business English degree in the university, in Thai universities. The differences among these 3 forms of business English teaching in Thailand are the learners, the target learners, and their learning needs. So for private language center, the business English course are provided for working people who want to improve their English proficiency, and especially workplace English that they can use in their in their career. And also for the corporates who want to improve their employees' English proficiency.
I don't know.
And in terms of the English business subject, like here is the example of the books that they use in vocational college. This kind of business English teaching is designed to be only a supplementary course for the vocational student. They want just only to prepare them for the international firms, but not as the major for them. And the last one is the degree, business English degree. So in here right now, we offer only bachelor degree in business English, but in different university, it have different points of view to look at business English. And for today, my talk will be in this context, in the context of the Thai University. And here, and here's some idea about Thai territory context or Thai universities context. So here there are altogether 182 territory universities in Thailand, but 50%, you can see that 50% is private university and 50% are government university, but only 24 universities that offer business English program. In the former time, there are more than this, but right now, some universities, they also provide business English, but the number doesn't show in here because they provide the course that does not like what you say, what I can say, like that's not under the government control, something like that, because some of the private university, they offer some course and then they do like they recruit the student for their own, but these 24 universities are under the government control. The government will be the one who be the center for recruiting the students to study in this university. That's why I can show the number just only like official number, but actually business English program was open in many university than I show you in here. So this is some of the idea about business English in Thai territory context. It's about 24 university, and these 24, most of them are government university. And here, so this is the current situation of business English in Thailand. So we have many faculty that providing business English, but most of them are quite different. In this slide, you can see that there's some like, it's only the example, but it's the example of the group of the university that providing business program. So in here, you can see that they are all different faculties that provide business English. Like I said, that it's depending on the university viewpoint, that what they see business English is. Some of them see business English as the program that under the business administration because of the name business. So they aims to prepare their student to be a businessman, a businesswoman, something like that. So they put business English under faculty of business or faculty of business administration, like my university, when the student graduate, they got the bachelor degree in business administration, but major in business English. But other university, for example, for this one, the Ratana Bandit, University. So Ratana Bandit University provide business English under the international business faculty, but they give them like a degree in arts, Bachelor of Arts, but major in business English, but they put business English under international business faculty. That's a bit like depends on what they saw it, and sometimes depends on the nature of the university as well. Like for the top three here, is quite famous university in Thailand. The first one up top here, Assumption University, is quite famous university, private university in Thailand. So this one, they offer business English as the bachelor degree in arts. So they offer it in the School of Arts. They provide it as the one program in arts. And also for Mahasarakam University. Mahasarakam University, they provide the business English program under the Faculty of Humanities and Social Science. So they put it into both language and also like business together under the humanities and social science. But the student got the bachelor degree of arts. And the last one, Prince of Songkhla University. This one put business English under the Faculty of Commerce and Management. It's quite similar to RBAC or Ratana Bandit University that put the business English program under the Commerce and Management faculty. Is kind like to move on to the business part, but the degree is still in arts. So in conclusion, it's only one, because my university is a group of university, it's not standalone university. So we have a group of university that have quite the same name, but in different part of Thailand, we use the location to specify that our university in this part of Thailand, something like that. So only in my university group that put business English under business administration, because our nature of our university used to be like a vocational university, and then we focus on preparing our graduates to be the workforce, to the labor. So we put business English under the faculty that we thought that it will give the student opportunity to get the job, something like that. That's why we put under that. We don't put it in the general idea like Bachelor of Arts, because Bachelor of Arts is quite wide. So they can work both in business and in the language part, like to be a teacher or something like that. But in fact, right now, it's not just the name of the degree, because the student can work whatever they want. The graduates, when after they graduate, they can work whatever they want. Some of my students are not working in the business sector. Some of them also go to continue their master degree in education, and then they work as a teacher. Like myself, I also graduated from business administration, but now I changed my path to be a teacher or something like that. So it can be any, but I just want to show you that there are some like conflict in our idea about business English in Thailand, but we're still moving on with it. So in here, like to like to be reflect the thought of the university about the program. Not only they put the business English under the faculty that they want it best suit for it. It also they also like have the policy to recruit the one who work in the in this faculty or in this program. So in here, honestly, this one I looked into the profile of the teacher in one university from the internet. So they show that the teacher who responsible for the program, for the business English program in this university, they have a wide variety, like you say that they have a wide variety of educational background. Like for the top 3, they are from language field, like you see from teaching English, from English, like pure English, but the other 2, the rest, so it's from business field, also from engineering. On his bachelor, he also from engineering. This why is quite this university have quite a wide variety of teacher background. Okay. Okay, and then so for here is the university in our university group, the one that put business English under the faculty of business and administration. So that's why they put they recruit the teacher from wide variety. We need to give them both business knowledge and also English knowledge. And the interesting profile is this teacher, the teacher in number 3. So this one, she got the bachelor in English, but master also in the language and communication, is also like teaching English, but she continue her master, another master in international business. This is I think this one is quite like significant profile for business English teacher, the one who try to get both knowledge, language knowledge and business knowledge. I do think that she reflects some of her idea about business English now. And this one is the profile of business English teacher in the program that provide it as the Bachelor of Arts, the one in arts. So they focus only on language, on the use of language, on language part. So they recruit the one who have the profile only quite similar profile in language, like English, profile in like teaching English, something like this. So this quite typical in Thai university. Most of the teacher who teach business English are the one who graduated from English field, from language field, from educational field, something like this. Okay, so from the previous slide, the one that I just showed you, those are the what can I say? It's those the perspective of the university, how the university perceive of business English, but in the perspective of the university. In here, in this slide, I will show you like the idea or the perception of the teachers themselves. The teacher, like the teacher personal view about business English. So most of the teachers, they understood that business English is teaching of English language in business context. But when I asked them, some of my colleagues and also some of my friends, or also some of the teachers I met when I went to the conference or something like that, when I asked them about business English, what is business English, and how they weigh the importance between English language and business knowledge. So I have found that they had different viewpoints in this question. Some of them thought business English should emphasize more on English language because of its ESP is the part of English teaching. So we need to give the student all the knowledge about English language. And some think differently. Some think that we should give them more business knowledge than English, because when they work in the business context, so they need some like business skills to be survive in the workplace. So I have heard like something like this all the time. And also someone said that we should put 50-50, like 50% for business knowledge and also 50% for business knowledge. But later on, after I asked them for maybe for at the first, sometime I met them 5 years ago, but when I saw them again after they work in this field for a bit longer than last time I talked to them, so the idea has changed. Right, some of them right now, they said that they thought they themselves need to upskill than business knowledge, because business knowledge is quite changed quite rapidly, something like that. It's changed quite fast. So they need to upskill, because even though they teach English, they know the grammar, they know the structure, but when there's some change in social, when there's some change in business context, the way to use the language is different, is changed. And also to teach the student nowadays, we can't teach only theory. So we need to put some more skills, some tricks or tips that they use when they communicate in their work. So the teacher thought that not only language anymore, so they also have to upskill their business knowledge. And they also thought that only English is not sufficient. It's not sufficient for the student nowadays, because in Thailand, it can't deny that we quite lean on tourism part. So business sector that our students graduate and work in mostly are in tourism and hospitality sector. So they have to meet many different people from different culture. But our main market now is Chinese. So we as a teacher in business English program thought that only English is not enough. So the student need to know more of other languages other than English. Even though they study business English, but they should have like some knowledge about other language to understand the culture of their prospective employer, prospective customer, something like that, and also to like to in here in Thailand. In fact, when you have the third language, so your salary will be increased in the business sector. So when you apply for a job, if you said that I am graduated from business English, so the prospective employer will think that you will be good in English. But what else that make you different from other candidates? So if the student said that I can speak some Chinese, so they got some of them they got job, and some of organization give them more salary, like an extra salary for the one who can speak third language. So that's why we think that we should put this into our program as well as one course, 2 courses about other languages. So in this slide, we'll show you the changes in teacher perception, like I talked about what they put into their curriculum for their student to answer to the labor market and also to the student needs. Because right now, even though the high school student, they also have to choose to study third language as well. And Chinese, Japanese, French, Korean, and also Russian is one of the elective courses for the high school student. When they continue their study in higher education, we also have to be like prepare for that student, and then we should have the course for them to continue to the to their career path, something like that. So, and this based on my own research, I have found that most business English programs are now integrate business knowledge, skills, and also business English knowledge skill. They don't say like general English right now. They say that business English. They try to put in the next slide. You will see the more specific picture of this. So in here, like for in short, so they put both business English knowledge and skills, business knowledge skills, also business experience, like hands-on experience, also was put into the curriculum, and other languages that's right now is like the must that we have in our business English curriculum. So like I said, that most of the other languages that the university choose is Chinese, because like I said that when the student graduate, they get more salary than others if they equip with this language. So why my cursor doesn't work? Okay. In here, to show you the picture of each kinds of courses in our curriculum. In this slide are the business subjects that business English students are required to study. Right now is the requirement for them to study these kinds of subjects together with English language. So the student need to study basic knowledge of business. Every business English need to study basic knowledge of business, like management. So the name normally is the subject like introduction to management, something like that, just the basic knowledge of it, just the touch of it, something like that. Economics, accounting, marketing, and also information technology. Right now, we can't deny that it's quite important. Technology is become a part of our life. So we have information technology subject for our student. And right now it's quite a trend in here. A trend in, I don't know that is it in Indonesia or not. The student now are actually not the student, the young generation now, they would like to be the owner of the business. They want to they don't want to be an employee in company, right? Is it the same in Indonesia?
Yes,
The young
but-
generation, they want to own their business. So we have to put this subject now, entrepreneurship for them to learn how to be the owner of the business, something like that. So right now is the basic knowledge that we have to give them. And also business law, because it have to work together with other basic knowledge. And another one that quite new to us as well is the hands-on experience. So right now, every course, the teacher have to try to let the student have experience in real life work. So for example, right now when we teach, like for myself, I teach business writing. Actually is writing skill. In the former time, we let them write the correspondence, English correspondence, memorandum, and also like short business report. But now we have to integrate their hands-on experience. So I myself have to work with the entrepreneur or with the owner of the business, mostly our local business. Like let them be our guests and let our student to work for them. For example, let the student go to see their business and try to write some business about the possibility of their business, about the problems in their business, instead of let the student write what I gave them as the case study. But right now we need to let the business owner to take part in my course as well. So it have to combine the hands-on experience and also the student for the 4 years program. On the last year, the student have to do the internship in the business for about a semester, one semester, about 3 months. It's compulsory now. So every university do quite the same. So the student need to be in the have to take an internship in the real business. So they have to learn how to use their knowledge, how to apply the knowledge in the real world situation. That's the trends now in Thailand. So here's the course of business that we conclude into Business English program. And also another one is the major required course that to show that we are Business English student. So the business knowledge, Business English knowledge. So we actually we teach them the knowledge about English, like English structures, English grammar, but we try to put them into the context of business. So the name of the subject will be like business writing instead of writing. So we have business writing, and we only focus on how to write the business documents, something like that. And also reading. So we put it business reading, but actually the student on their first year, they still have general English. They have to study general English, like English for academic purposes. They still have the academic English to study, English for everyday use, something like that to study. But when we look onto the major, when they start to about the second semester of the first year, they start to enroll in the major required courses and also with the business courses. So the student will learn like basic knowledge about English, like reading, writings, listening and speakings, but in the business context, like I said. And after that, the student have to like up their level, go up of their level to the skills that are a little bit more difficult, like translation in business English, and also like presentation skills. But we focus on business presentation. The student need to learn how to present in the business organization, how they do it, what the tricks for that. And also because of when we work in international organizations, there are many people from different countries, different culture. So we need to give them like intercultural or cross-cultural communication knowledge, that how you communicate with others, because right now there are world English from anywhere in the world, not only from the native, are acceptable. So everyone need to learn how to communicate with people from different cultures. So we put this subject into the curriculum, the intercultural or cross-cultural business communication. And we also have for the last year student, we have seminar in business English. So we will discuss with the student what problems in the area that cover business English. Sometimes it's not look like it's the problems in English language itself. Like for I think last semester, my student come up with the topic of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency. So they interested in how to invest in cryptocurrency safely, something like that. But they invited the lecturers who invest in both national market and also in the international market to give them the knowledge, something like that. Sometimes the students are not think only about the language anymore when they learn business English. They also think like integrated the business and English together. So the required course require them to get that idea, that knowledge. So the next slide will show you like this one, the elective course, major elective courses. So we still focus on English, but English in like specific purposes. For this one, the student will continue their study in their last two, in the 2 year before they graduate. The third year, the fourth year, the student will have a chance to choose the major elective course by themselves. So we try to make the course more variety to answer the needs of them, the needs of the student themselves and also the labor market. So we have English for many different kinds of job, different business sectors. The one that quite famous also as a course and also as the career path that our student chose is English for tourism or English for hospitality, because like I said, that Thailand is tourism economy, something like that. So we quite lean on to that part of economy. So many students want to work in the tourism part, and also in the hotels, something like that, in the restaurant. So they chose this one. And also we have like English for different kinds of work in the company, like English for marketing, English for public relations and advertising. They can be the staff in one organization and use their English in that. And also the new one, like entrepreneurship. in business knowledge, we also have English for online business, English for entrepreneur. Also for this one, for the student who wants to be wants to have their own business, we also have something like this to choose from. So mainly you can see that as a business English teacher, we are now need not only to understand the work of each business, but we also have to keep up with the business trends as well. So because in order to make these kind of ESP courses, when we want to teach them, we also have to know some knowledge about, like English for entrepreneurship. We also have to know some knowledge about how to be an entrepreneur, something like that. So that's why we can give them the English and also some tips or tricks that they need to know when they use it to work. They apply this knowledge to their work. So we have like for myself, I used to work as a tour guide when I just graduated. So I also can use my knowledge for teaching English for tourist guides, something like that. So we need to have some kinds of experience or some kinds of knowledge. Sometimes when we don't know, like when I need to teach English for banking or finance, because there are no one who in my department can do this, because most of them graduated from language field. So only me that become like, in Thailand we call like a duck. I am like a duck, because in Thai when we call someone like a duck, it's like sometimes it's like kidding, something like that, but it also have the meaning like I know everything. Like a duck, they can fly, but not well, not quite good as a bird, right? And also the duck can swim, but not like a fish, but they know how to swim, how to survive in the water, something like that. They can walk, but they walk quite, the way they walk is look funny, right? Something like that. So sometimes my friend said that you are like a duck, you know everything, but sometimes I just only touch it. Something like that. So for myself to be a better duck, maybe better duck, to be a better duck, so to be better. So like when I need to, I have some knowledge about accounting, because I used to learn business English before, so I know some accounting. But to upskill my knowledge about banking and finance, to teach English for banking and finance or English for accounting, I myself have to sit in the accounting course. Sometimes I go with my colleagues who teach accounting, and then I have to sit in her class to get some idea about what she taught in Thai about accounting. That's why when I study the book about English for accounting, I will understand the terms and the terminology about accounting, and then I can explain to the student. Because the student themselves, they study accounting in Thai, but when they study in English, sometimes the terminology will be big burden for them, like big problems for them, something like that. Okay, so we as a business English teacher have to work a bit harder than like the subject teacher a little bit, because we need to mix both knowledge together. But it's fun to do that. So here, sorry. Okay, in here, in conclusion about the business English trends, the business English trends to be conclusion of the curriculum that we look at. So we can see that the teacher perceptions has influenced the Business English program has influenced the curriculum, and also the students need what they want to learn, what they want to know. So we have to answer to their needs, and also we have to look into what business organizations want, and we need to answer their needs as well. The labor market, because they are the one who will accept our student to work in their organization. Sometimes we need to, not sometimes, right now we need to answer to their needs. Like when they write the curriculum, when they create the curriculum, one procedure that we need to do is to invite some of the organization, some of the business organization that quite related to our program, our curriculum, to give us some comments about the curriculum, that what this is best suit for them to be the employee in the future, for that to be their future employee. If they learn something like this, is them good enough to work in their organization or something like that. We need to ask them that. Like and in here in Thailand, for the curriculum, even though we have the like freedom to create our own curriculum, each university, each program have their freedom to create it, but then they have the procedure to be controlled, that each curriculum have standard. So we have to do like I said, that we need to survey the needs of the students, the prospective student for each program, that what they want to learn, what they want to know, if they apply to this program. And we also have to invite the organizations, the business organization, to give us a comment about the curricula. And after that, we write the curricula, and then we propose it to the government organization that take control of the curricula of the whole Thai university. That's it. And then that's the curricula that we do. Like for my program right now, we have to revise, because we have to revise the curriculum every 4 to 5 years. We need to revise it all the time. And to revise it, we need to invite, like I said, that the organization, the business organization, to give a comment. Like for the latest one is the 2022 curriculum. So our 2022 curriculum, we was commented that we should cut some subject like writing, because we used to have 3 business writing course, but the organization said that it's too much. It can be only 1 courses. So right now in the 2022 curriculum, we have only 1 business writing course, but we have another subject to answer to the world situations. We have the subject called like content writing, something like that instead. Content writing or online writing instead of business writing, like correspondent or something like that. Because the business organization, they said that for business correspondence, they have the format. And it's right now because of Google and easy of Google. So it's not that difficult for the student to learn how to write it. Yeah. So they said that only 1 is enough. Sorry
for interrupting. We have 2 minutes to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Another 2 minutes, right?
Right.
Okay, I can conclude. Okay, so I go quick with this. Now we move on to look at the future. the future of business English teaching in Thailand. So due to the COVID-19 social disruption, I think in Indonesia also suffer from this, like in Thailand, we suffer from this a lot. So the business English teachers are needed to adapt it themselves to cope with the changes in teaching environment. For example, the teacher have had to switch their teaching from like on-site teaching to online teaching. And this, therefore, the teacher need to improve their technological skills. This is a significant challenge for us as a teacher, especially for those who did like technology, who technophobia. So it's quite the big problem for us. But even though the COVID-19 situation is improving, the business English teachers still have to face new challenges, such as changes in students' learning style, because they study online for, I think, about 2 years. So when they come back to on-site, right now we come back to on-site, so their learning style are different. So we have to cope with that. And also the hybrid teaching, because the situation is not died down yet. So in Thailand, there's still, like right now, my university open for about 1 week. This is the second week. We found that many students got infected. Infected, and then many. So maybe we have to change to be hybrid teaching. So we have to learn way how to do the hybrid teaching online and on-site together, because the student want to study on-site, but there is infection, something in their class. So it's quite big problem and challenge for us. And another challenges for Thai teacher now is because of our government created the program called Reinventing Universities. Actually, because of the impact of the COVID-19, they try to group the university into 4 groups that you see. The university who under each group have to focus on the target strategy. For example, my university is under technology development and innovations group of university. So we need to make our student to be an innovator.
All right.
An innovator to serve the strategy of the university. And now, so for myself, I have to be trained to be the trainer for teaching the student or training our student to be an innovator in business English. The student need to think some new innovation in business English, something like that. Maybe application for their jobs or something like that. So, but
Right.
I need to train to be something like that. So I will conclude here that as a business English teacher, I think we have to keep learning new knowledge and developing new skills to keep up with any change awaiting us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your inviting, and thank you for your attention.
Yeah. Thank you, Paniti. It was a very interesting presentation and also very interesting experience in teaching business English in Thailand. So there is another challenge for the post-COVID era, I think.
Yes.
From your. All right. Yes, thank you, Paniti. We will looking forward for the discussion with you later on the third session. With some audience already sent us the questions to discuss later. Thank you, Paniti.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, my pleasure. And after the engaging session with the first speaker, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, we shall go to the next session of this symposium. We shall move on to the second session, still with ESP topic, which has many perspectives, everyone. It was the perspective of the academia, of the lecturer, especially on business. Now, to have a broader view about the ESP in different contexts, the symposium has invited a speaker from Kosi University, Germany, if I'm not mistaken in pronouncing Kosi, Budiati. Let me give a brief introduction about Budiati. She is now on together with us in the virtual room. Budiati is now taking her doctoral program at Kosi University. So she's actually PhD candidate. Budiati, sorry for us. Yeah. She is majoring in Asian studies. She has incorporated and still now incorporated in international foundations and has vast experience in training, managing, implementing, and volunteering programs. In brief, she has a broad experience applying the ESP in a real life. And she is going to present now today an emerging topic that is English for specific purposes, a one-size-fits-all purpose. One-size-fits-all approach. All right, it's now offered to you, Budiati, to present your paper.
Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Ajeng. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Questions, because we will be staying here until 11. Does anyone needs to go to the toilet? Because this is very important. I think if you need to go to the toilet, then let's do it. Okay. If not, then I have a short exercise. This is something that we can do for a long time online meetings. So just like repeat after me. If you have glasses, just put on your glasses. And then open your eyes very wide.
All right.
Hold it for like 10 seconds. And then try to roll to the side, to the left, and to the right. Again, to the left, and to the right. And now try to look your screen very intensively. This is only for your eyes. I mean, like you can do it from time to time because most of the time you will be very tired and you do not realize it. And now, like if you feel that your head or your neck is a little stiff, just move it around. I think it's okay. I mean, like you have to sit for 2.5 hours today. And I think we need to move a bit so you can also move your shoulders. And do as you need it. Okay, I mean, like this is just one of the little things that you can do because as what Dr. Paniti said, online session and COVID give us new challenges. It's not only about presenting, but also like how to keep our focus and how to keep our attentions to the things that we want to learn. It's not very easy, both for the learners and both for the teachers. And this is where ESP takes place. This is English for the specific purposes. It is not only the language, but also the techniques when you have to do the online course. Okay, so before I'm sharing my screen, I would like to see how many people will raise their hand. So if you are a teacher for English specific purposes, please raise your hand. There is a reaction on your bottom, in the bottom of your page. So people are starting to raise their hand. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, not so many. I hope that people who do not have their camera on, they are still there. Right, thank you so much. Now you can lower your hand. The next question is, how many of you at least did 1 semester of ESP as a student? Or like you learn ESP as one of your subjects? Please raise your hand. As the only one. I mean, like, I know that Dr. Paniti learned as a student as well, ESP for the English for the business purposes. Okay, so I see Eko Susanto. No one else? This is very interesting. When you are not a teacher or learner of ESP, why are you here? Okay, thank you so much. Well, this is not the point of my questions, because what I want you to do the next is like reflecting on the development and the changing, and why or one size fits all for ESP is something that we need to challenge. So I will share my screen. Right, so this is a title, English for Specific Purposes, a one-size-fits-all approach. I specifically pick up this title because, like, as a teacher or as a learner, I was a student of the English department and I got one semester of ESP. How this approach that everything fits all were kind of the approach that many of the teachers are using in designing and also in teaching the subjects. While actually from the presentation of Dr. Paniti, we learned that the world is changing, that the need of students are changing, not only the needs, but also the style, the learning style. And also, like, the world is moving. There are different kinds of challenges and also demands that somehow ESP has to answer and has to meet. So this is how I structure the presentation. The first one is the introduction. What is English for specific purposes? I want you also for this introduction to think about the ESP for yourself. What does ESP means for me? How do I understand ESP in this context? And the second one is the development of English for specific purposes. I think this development is somehow will be overlapping and touching with the presentation presented before by Dr. Paniti. But I hope that somehow it will give us clear understandings on the developments and how different branches or how different streams of ESP is arising today. I heard some back sound. I think it's Irene Rati. Could you please just mute yourself? Or do I need to mute you? Okay, thank you. And then, like, the unstoppable spread of English for specific purposes. Dr. Paniti also mentioned in her presentation that it is changing, it is developing, it is unstoppable. No one can stop and say ESP is like this, ESP is static, ESP is not dynamic. Because the fact is that the world is changing very rapidly, and a new challenging in teaching English is also occurring, and the spread of ESP somehow cannot be stopped anymore. And the next slot that I want to discuss with you is the relevance of the needs assessment for ESP. I saw already one question from the previous presentation on how to do the need assessment. How do we know the students' need in this sense? So then we can design, and also we can teach ESP as much as possible, matching with the expectation of the students and also meeting the needs of the labor market. And then, like, one size fits all, the reality of teaching and learning ESP, I tried to find an example of research of ESP in Indonesia that unfortunately I cannot find. So I tried to find a comparable examples Thank you so much, Dr. Panity, for giving us examples on how ESP is being organized in Thailand, but also there is an interesting research in India, and I found some similarities in terms of context and the education system that somehow, I hope that it will shed a light for us and how we as teachers, as the learners, as people who are interested further about ESP will be able to find out what we can do together to improve the ESP situation or our teaching and learning. And then we have a conclusion and some references that later on I will share with you. Right. And the objective of the session for today, of course, like I would like by the end of the session, all of us can discuss and learn further about the definition of ESP, and also like the development of ESP itself and the three areas through which the ESP spreads and the relevance between the assessment and ESP and one size fits all approach in teaching and learning ESP. I invite you, if you have something to challenge or if you disagree with what I said, or if you are questioning what I'm presenting, just feel free to type your opinions or your or the point of the discussion in the chat box. Of course, like we're going to discuss later, but I invite not only questions but also your comment and your opinions. Okay, so before I start with the presentation, I want you to take 2-3 minutes for yourself and think about, reflect for yourself. What is ESP for you? When did you start to learn ESP? Or, because many of you since didn't raise your hand when I asked question, when did you start to be interested in ESP? How did you learn it or how did you observe it? And what changes do you observe between ESP learning and teaching in the past and nowadays? So I will let you to be silent, to think about it and reflect for yourself for 2-3 minutes. And I would invite 1 or 2 people to give their opinions and to share their reflections. Okay, so anyone, 1 or 2, would like to share their experience? I mean, like we heard already from Dr. Panity, but I think it will be also interesting to hear from 1 or 2 of you. Please go ahead, raise your hand and then unmute yourself.
Yeah.
No one?
Was to share.
Yes, please. Bapak Amin Wibowo, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for the attention and the chance for me. I would like to try to share my experience while I teach English at SMK or vocational high school in 2008. Maybe I have ever taught my students of vocational school. I think it is one of specific English for specific purpose. And then the next question, uh, I teach, I taught my students at the vocational school using TOEIC, teaching English of specific competence, maybe TOEIC. And then I taught my students with the picture how to listen to the dialogue in pair in the and then match each other to support our learners at the vocational school to find their jobs or to look for a job in the company or the other factory. And the last question, what change do you observe between your ESP learning and your ESP teaching? I think it's very challenging. I have a challenge to teach vocational teachers because we have to teach them with the practical rather than the theoretical. Man, thank you so far. That's my experience.
Thank you so much, Papa Amin. Yeah, I mean, like, this is very interesting how, as a teachers, that you need to teach English for specific purposes. In this case, like the SMK, the high school, the vocational high school. And Pak Amin had employed different methods, for example, by using pictures, let the students to practice in pairs, and then also like matching things. And the aim of the English for specific purposes for him and for his student is all to find the students to get a better job or like to find a job. And the challenge is very clear. It is very practical, which means it is specifically tailored for a specific aims, which is finding jobs. So, for example, if it is electronic, then they have to focus for the electronics. If it is about engineering, then it should be also tailored for the engineering. But the problem was also mentioned by Bapak Amin is that it is not general English. General English is not enough. Because first, the student needs to have the general English, and then the specific skills, the specific knowledge has to be added into the general English as a base for their learning. If it is about engineering, then it should be also tailored for the engineering. But the problem was also mentioned by I think there is something with the recording which is playing automatically. Okay, right. Thank you so much. I saw another hand. I think it's by Bapak Lorenzo. Do you want to share a bit your experience with the ESP? No. Okay. If not, then I will continue. Thank you so much, Bapak Mindibowo. I will go back from time to time from the examples that you were given, and also some examples that I noted from the earlier presentation by Dr. Panitti. Right. So, what is actually ESP? Some scholars said, what's wrong with my computer? Okay. So, according to McKay and Mountford, the ESP is a term generally used to teach English for a clear utilitarian purpose. I underline a clear utilitarian purpose, which means that the purpose of the teaching is very clear and the aims is also very clear. If we go back to the examples of Baba Amin, I think like for the vocational school, they have a clear purpose. If they are the electronic students, then they will learn about electronic using English. or they will learn about the vocabularies for something related to the electronic or engineering. According to Hutchinson and Waters, ESP is an approach to language teaching in which all decisions as to content and method are based on learners' reason for learning. Why the learners learn is very important because it will decide the content and the method. It also implies, as English, which is somehow peculiar to the range of principles and procedures which define that particular professions. So there are principles, there are procedures, and there is a specific professions that somehow ESP targeted. And another scholar, Belcher, states that ESP assumes that the problems are unique to specific learnings in specific context. So it means like ESP are addressing a very unique specific learning in a specific context, and that must be carefully delineated and addressed with tailored to fit instructions. So the designing and the teaching of ESP, somehow it should be as well unique and tailored specifically to fit the instruction, so that the aims, the clear aims, the clear purposes can be reached by the ESP. Great. And then the development of ESP. There are different reasons, there are different tribes why ESP develops in a very rapid speed. The first one is the changing environment in the world forces the changing of the English learning needs. If we could go back to what Dr. Panitti presented before, she said that the pandemic somehow changed the needs, not only the needs of the skills and the knowledge, but also the changing environment of the world somehow influenced the needs of the students, because the students' learning style changes. And she also mentions about her students want to learn about cryptocurrency. Before, no one would think about cryptocurrency. Even maybe the idea never came to their minds. But now everyone wants to learn about internet, about TikTok, about Instagram. My niece, she's like 6 years old and she knows already about Instagram. And I was like, what are you thinking, girls? This is like too far. But the changing of the environment somehow changed also the needs of learning. And then like students study general English, as what Amin mentions, they should know the basic, they should know the structure, they should have the foundation of the general English, and then advance their learning to be able to communicate a set of professional skills to be able to perform particular job-related functions. If they want to be a doctor, then they need to learn about English related to the medicine or to the health treatment. If they want, of course, like if they do not want to, they can also still use the Indonesian language, for example, but as what Dr. Panitti said also, it also implies to their professionals and their salary, because somehow it also happens in Indonesia. If you have second, third language, what I mean by second is not Javanese and Indonesians, but it's either the third language, English or other foreign language, then the chance for the students or the chance of the professionals to get better salaries also there. And ESP is built based on assessment of purpose and function for which the language is needed. So what is the purpose of learning? What function does the language that they are learning will serve in their future? So purpose and functions are very important in the ESP. And it is not taught separately, student professional and academic environment, but it's also like heavily immersed into it. I think Dr. Paniti clearly mentions that even if the students learn business English, or what was striking for me is that in Thailand, the students can learn business and majoring at business English. So it means like the academic environment or like the academic path that the students taking is not necessarily separated from the ESP that they are learning, because they can learn business, but instead of learning how to only write a business correspondence or answering the phone or doing different note-taking skills, they can also take it as an academic path. And Christine and Dalton Puffer claim that there might be some overlapping between ESP and content and language integrated learning. So, I mean, like, if you do not know or you are not aware about content and language integrated learning, you could just ignore it a bit. But there is a possibility that ESP is overlapping with a different area of English teaching. Right. And then this is also Dr. Paniti somehow mentions in her presentation that I found also very interesting, because when we are talking about English language teaching, then we have the English for specific purposes or ESP. I do not put them as a hierarchy because I thought like it can create a new debate and it will invite lots of discussion. Because English for specific purposes can also be the umbrella for English for the academic purposes. But as we can see that somehow they are interrelated. And when we will have to discuss about which come first, I think we will need another seminar, and we could ask the host to host us another seminars on how to put the hierarchy. And we also have the English for occupational purposes, that somehow, interestingly, that the business English has an intersection of both, which I fully agree, because somehow you learn the academic and you also learn the occupational purposes. But there is also the English academic occupational purposes that somehow could be where the business English is. And recently, English for socio-cultural purposes are also equalized. So I think these are just examples on how the development of ESP and how new streams or new branches of ESP are being born in a day-to-day basis, and there will be still possibility of the further development. But what would be very important is that what channels these developments develop. So when I'm talking about the development of ESP and how unstoppable it is, there are three areas according to McKinsey and Waters, and those three areas are: first, the fast development of technology leads to the need for higher and more precise performativity. So before, I'm so sorry, there are lots of back noises. Yeah.
Interrupting. Wahyu, would you please mute the microphone, or the host, would you please?
Thank you. Okay, so the fast development of technology, somehow it requires higher and more precisely performativity. Because I mean, like, there are new terms, there are new terminologies, there are new phrases that the fast development of technology demanding the learners and also the teachers to tailor ESP to meet the demand. And the second one is also the revolutions in linguistics. If traditional linguistics aims to describe the features of the language, the nowadays linguistics started to focus on how languages are used in the real life communications. And we can also realize the development of the language itself. Because I mean, like in the real life communication, our day-to-day language or day-to-day phrases or words that we use are somehow different. And how to convey the message more effectively is very important. And the third one is the learner's focus. If a student is to be taught a language that they need for efficient job performance, then the learner's need and method to achieve the learning goals are very essential. So again, I mean, like we always talk about the learner's focus or the learner centered, but honestly speaking, it's not very easy to implement the learner's centered or learner focus when, for example, we do the online session or we do the online class. Even if the offline classes, we still have challenges to create or to design a syllabus or like teaching plan, which is learner centered. And why the need assessment is vital. ESP has to answer the needs of the students, so then they are able to perform better for their profession, or they are able to find better job. Then there are different reasons, and ESP needs need assessment. So needs is actually an umbrella term that embraces many aspects. For example, the learner's goal, the backgrounds, and the abilities. What are they? And what are their language proficiencies? Many cases, our students have different level of language acquisition, and that creates a problem. And that's why need assessment is very important. And why are they taking this course? And what kind of teaching do they prefer? And then ESP aims to teach and train the learners to communicate successfully in their specific professional settings. And specific attention should also be given to ways in which learners acquire the language and different ways language is acquired, instead of on the method of language delivery. I think the third point here is the trap, because most of us as a teacher, we focus on the method of the language delivery. For example, we use pictures, we use pairs, we match the word, but do we put specific attention to how learners acquire the language and the different ways language is acquired? So I think, like, how to say, it can also work vice versa, but this is the time for us to kind of like flip the mind. Okay, if it doesn't work, maybe they have a different way on acquiring the language. And this is something that we need to challenge. And that is why the assessment is also very important. And here, learners, the ESP sees learner to use different skills, to use different learning strategies, having different needs and interests, and thus a spatial design is needed to meet these demands. So for example, if we are teaching vocational schools and the students, they are using different skills, they have different skills, they have different learning strategies, and they have different interests and needs. So how could we meet the expectation of learning? Can we serve them with a very good design of ESP, so then they would say, okay, my ESP helps me to find a job? And then the last point is that the learner-centered is the requirement. It's not the teachers giving them all. It is the teachers who facilitates the learning so that they are able to do things by themselves. And this is very important. Before going further, there is actually debate. I'm also reflecting to the presentation of Dr. Panitti that she's a duck in time. It means like she has everything, but also she doesn't have everything. She can do everything, but also she cannot do everything. There is a debate in ESP, either only a very good trained teachers or trainers should teach ESP. But on the other hand, there is also the development, there is also a debate that teachers can also train themselves so they are able to do what they need to do because of the changing of the world, because of the changing of the technology, because of the different needs, because of the different learning styles, because the demands are there. And the questions is if the teachers, if the instructor, if the trainers will be able to meet those all. So ESP is not an easy subject. It seems that, oh, it's just answering the phone. Is it? Well, maybe. But then the question goes deeper. If I teach the students, this is how to answer the phone, will they be able to answer the phone for their job and being able to perform professionally as what they expected, as what demanded by their job? Right. And then, like, there are lots of issues, as I mentioned before. It's not only how in designing, but also in teaching. There are lots of cases that ESP teachers often find themselves in a situation where they are expected to produce a course that meets exactly the needs and the interests of the learners. So if my students will study tourism, so they have to be able to do this, because these are the requirements for them to find a good job in the tourism field. But we forget that the students have different interests. So Dr. Paniti is teaching business English, and she found her students wants to learn about crypto because the interest is not only the normal business English or possibly the session plan for business English that she tailored before, but there was a different interest of the learners. And the question is, do we as a teacher of ESP have to provide them all? And if the answer is yes, will we be able to do that? So I see lots of problems here because again, like the capacity and the capability of the teachers or the course designer is limited. And each group of learners have their own needs and interests related to their future jobs, their future dreams job. There is a constant changes on the needs, interests, age, and temperament of the learners. And the possibility to reuse the existing materials is limited. So if the pressure to produce a course, like a brand new course for the ESP is always there. Because we always want to meet the needs of the students. We want to meet the needs of the employers. The world is changing. And the learners learn in a different way because of the pandemic. So, and the material is not anymore suitable because of all those changing. What should we do? And further, we need to do a thorough need assessment. So then, like, these are the problems that I can see as well faced by Papa Ani with his examples, because it's very challenging. It needs to be practical. The problem is the practical part is always changing. How I, as a teacher, will be able to help my students to cope with that. And me, as a teacher, will I be able to create a new course and new teaching materials that will suit the needs of my students? Right. So the one size fits all of the ESP. They think that, okay, ESP is very easy. I can use this book to teach this subject. So I learned English. Well, I mean, like I studied English as my bachelor program in 1997. And the ASP that I learned is how to write a business correspondence. It's writing, it's not even typing. I have to use pen and paper. And the further that I went with the lesson was answering phone, asking about inquiry and ordering goods. Can we do that now? Is it enough? No. I think like internet is everywhere. And then like to advertise the products, maybe it's not a business correspondence, but then like there is the fax machine for the students need to know. There is an internet connection. There are different ways of sending messages and doing the business and running the business. The business correspondent is the basis, but then like the requirements, the demand of the business correspondent somehow does not anymore fitting into the requirements of the workplace. So the facts in designing and teaching ESP, especially for the university students, according to Murtaza, is that the communicative demands of modern university and workplaces are addressed simply by controlling linguistic error and policies. So for example, like if there is the error in grammar or structure, then this is something that they address. And polishing means like just upgrading a bit of the vocabularies, but not necessarily going into the terminologies, deeper corpus of the words and something like that. The second one is ESP students and teachers are consumers of the course designed by other people to address the needs of other students. This is the easiest way. Because I mean, like what are existing in the market, if it comes from the UK or from the US, from the Australia, it will meet my students' need. But our students are Indonesian students and Dr. Paniti's students are Thai students. Are we sure that they have the same need as those students from the people designing the course? So, and the third one is in case the teachers design their own courses, the design is not based on a pattern analysis. Because again, ESP covers lots of factors and lots of aspects that the challenges posed is also huge. Okay, Dudley and Abrams notes that EAP, English for the academic purposes, tends to be a practical affair. And these areas are typically understood in terms of local context and the needs of particular students. So for example, like if they are studying medicine, science particularly for that, and they see it as something practical. It's not something like really tailored specifically on how to be a very good doctor later on, but it's like, okay, this is just something to prepare them to be a doctor. And Highland states that while ESP involves a syllabus design, needs analysis and material development, ESP is now also a much more theoretically grounded and research-informed enterprise. So going back to the presentation by Dr. Paniti, she said that her university invited companies to give feedback, to give comment on the curriculum that she has. And this is a very good idea because I mean, like, research-informed enterprise means like we contacting the company and we know exactly what they need. They know exactly what the expectation for the students and also for the companies, so that the teaching learning that we organize meets the demand. So it's involved far more than simply controlling linguistic errors. The thing like correcting the grammar or structure is not enough. And the policing here and there is not enough. Indeed, it needs deeper research and also involvement of many more actors in the industry and in the teaching environment. Great. So as I mentioned before, I'm trying to find an example from Indonesia, but there is none. And unfortunately, my research is not for the ESP. So I tried to find a comparable examples of the context of ESP, which is similar to the Indonesian students or the Indonesian universities. So I found one from India. And the context in India is that the students at the university have various background of English acquisition because they use language other than English at their secondary education. I think this is comparable to Indonesia because even if at the Indonesian university we are still using Indonesian, but during their high school, the medium of teaching is Indonesians. And when they have to learn ESP at the university, then they have different level of English. The second one is the considerable amount of classroom teaching of English is driven by the external examination conducted by the universities. This is exactly what is happening here because our English test in high school is also driven by the schools. And also at the university, it's also driven by the universities.
Uji,
The
sorry.
Yes.
We have 2 minutes to go for the second session.
I'm so sorry. I have my count, my clock, and it's still 8 minutes. But I will go fast
Mine is 10.
because I time myself for 45 minutes. Okay, but I will just go quick.
All right.
And then okay, so actually it's similar situation between the Indonesian and the Indians, and we also have the division between language and literature wings, and then like a number of textbook, it's also being introduced, and the teachers are being trained in a modern approach to functional language. And there is a specific governing body to develop materials for English. This is what's happening in Indonesia that I see it is comparable to Indonesia. And from the research, what actually needed is that there are 9 factors. The first one is that we need to consider in designing ESP. The first one is the student levels of English proficiency. The second one is if the language is the immediate needs or the delayed needs. Immediate needs means like when they are entering the university or the institution, this is exactly what they need. They need it now. If they are learning nursery, then they need to learn English for specific nursery learning, or it is delayed needs, which means like this is something that they can postpone in the end of this, in the middle or in the end of the study. And the third one is the motivation. How high? It's the motivation of the students to learn. And when the course takes place, pre, during, or post studies, because the divisions will affect the degree of the specificity. And then the type of the situation, because there are 4 types of the situation. If the country is the English-speaking countries, if the ESL situation is the English, if the English is the official language of education and widely spoken. And the third one is situation in which certain subject. So for example, like if in a certain subject, then English should be taught. And a situation where all subject courses are taught in the national language. For example, like in Indonesia, English is a very good additional skills to know. And then the management and administration. So there are two how I call it contexts In ESP, the first one is BANA, British, Australian, and North American context, where the designer or the teacher have a considerable freedom to develop a classroom methodology. And the second one is the TSAP, tertiary, secondary, and primary English language educations. In the rest of the world, where in this expected is like the facilities, the hours of instruction, and the class size are impacted by the entire education system. And the second one is the teachers, and the eighth one is the availability and the length of the course. Right. So, I mean, like the conclusion is that ESP is developing and changing due to the changing of the world, and it is unstoppable, and we cannot stop it. And as a teacher and learner, we have to be aware of the changing and ready to respond to the changing needs accordingly with our limitation, of course. And a thorough need assessment is needed to guarantee that the course design is meeting the needs of the learner. And my last conclusion is there is no one size fits all approach in ESP, because we are aware that the need assessment is very important. And we are also aware that the changing of the world is very fast and rapid, and we cannot stop it. That somehow requires ESP to always adjust and also catch up with the changes. This is some part of my references, and I hope that it is fine now. Okay, Ibu Ajeng, it goes back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Puji. It was very interesting to have different views in ESP. And it is true that basic English alone is not enough. We need to, ESP is the key answer of coping with the different skills. Thank you, Bu Puji. And everyone, now we go to the next session, the third one. And again, I have to remind you, if you have anything to share, anything to ask, you can write down or type down on the chat box, or you can deliver it yourself by raising your hand. Give me a sign if you want to say your questions, you want to deliver something, you want to share an experience on ESP. All right, let me go to the first questions. It is for Panithi.
Yes.
It was about the business English. It was from Pak Amin. Pak Amin, the question is regarding to the dimensions such as presentation, presentation and negotiation. What do you suggest to plan a teaching in primary school to support ESP in the higher education, and why those dimensions are very important? So, yeah, I think he needs some suggestion or what kind of plan for the education, what kind of ESP program that necessarily need for them.
Okay, so from my viewpoint, I do think that the primary student is quite young, but you still can like train them for the presentation skill and also for the negotiation skill, but maybe start with the topic that the student interested in. I don't know, because I don't have any children, so I don't know that what primary student interested in, but maybe the singer, the food, or everything that they are interested in, and maybe you let them do like simple presentation. But for us, like adults or for the business person, so they need the process to do the presentation. But for the young student, I don't think we need that. Maybe they just know that they need to greet the audience, how to greet the audience, and how to say goodbye. That's all for the young one. But the point is, we want them to like we want to promote their confidence. I think that we want to promote their confidence to present or to talk what they are interested in, what they are working on, because when they want to talk about the topic they like, they have to do some, I think they do some like research, maybe a small research about what they like they want to talk to what about their food, that their favorite food or something like that. They also have to find out that not only to say that what it is, but maybe they will say like what how to make it or something like that to present to their friends in their class. So we want at first for the primary student, we want them to have confidence to speak in public. And for the negotiation also, you can do something like, I think like the topic that the student in the class interested in, and then let they say they discuss what they are interested in their viewpoint. So it will practice how they also the confidence to share their ideas in public, because this kind of skills like negotiation skill, like presentation skill, sometimes when you grow up to be like in the university, you also have to present some report to the teacher. And also when you work, so if you work in the company, you have to present your project that you propose to the company. So it's the skill that I think it's better if you promote it from when they was young, and when they grow up it will accumulate their skills, I think. So is it answered your question, Mr.
Amin.
Amin?
Question from Amin.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, hopefully it answered the questions or filling up the questions from Pak Amin. And maybe for children, we can get used to them with some vocabularies that they might need for the daily use. All right. Thank you, Vanity. Another question from Ibu Stephanie Dewi. She would like to find out, to know your experience in designing. Business English should be designed based on students' needs. So can you share your experience? Why to find out or to know the students' needs? So the way to find out or to know what the students need, so that we can design the ESP program that fits to the student.
Okay, so sometimes actually theoretically we need to do it before we decide the course, but practically sometimes it's quite difficult because of the time frame, right? The time frame, like for example, like when we decide the curriculum, we have to revise it every 4 years, but it takes about a year to make it. So we cannot do exact needs analysis from the prospective student. Sometimes we do it with the alumni, the graduates, because when they go up, when they graduate from our university, they go to work. So at that time, they know exactly what they want, what they want more, what is it not enough when they go to work. So sometimes if it in the informal form, I just talk to them, sit and talk, chit chat, something like that, because we have quite close relationship with our students. So we have lie, sometimes we lie, and then we just talk and then I ask them that so if possible, if you come back to study, would you what do you think we should put more on for your junior, something like that. And then they will give us the comments that maybe they said that, oh, when I work, this part of the lesson is not useful. So maybe you should put more on that. And also another one group of the student is current student, because we have checked their checked their like their needs all the time. Like we have the questionnaire to official questionnaire to let them share their ideas about what they have learned in each course and then what they want more in that course. So we also check with that, and then we adapt it. For the curriculum, we cannot do anything. We have the flagship, but when we teach, we can adapt it. We can put it more or less, or make it cut some point while we teach. So, but we do something like that to check the needs. But for the like official curriculum, so we need to do some analysis from the alumni and from the like the last year student, the one who go for internship, because when they do internship, they knows exactly that what wait for them in the future, something like that, because they are in the real world situation. They know that what because sometimes we let them for our program, so we let them do internship in the first semester of their fourth year, and after that in the second semester they will have to enroll in seminar in business. So at that subject, so at that course in seminar in business English, they will share us what they face when they do the internship. So we got to know some of their opinion from that. Okay.
Right. So another question actually. In what semester is ideally the students take the business English course? You were mentioning that they take take the internship on the first year or first semester?
First internship is first semester of the fourth year, of the last year of their study. But for the business English courses, like required courses, actually we try to put like one course in from the beginning of their study. Like for their first year, in the first year, we put like business English grammar into their what you call like study timetable, something like that. We put them into it, and also they have to study like general English. General English is responsible by the liberal arts, not from the business English, but we let them study it together. And then after that, we put more and more and more like reading and writing in second semester of the first year. And then for the second year, the first semester, they might learn like translation, introduction to translation, something like that, and then move on to ESP, like English for hospitality, English for marketing, that they can choose from. They will start to choose from when they are in the third year.
All right. So for the university whose students learn English, they learn specific English and also general English all together for the whole years of their study.
Yes, and for the major, like business English major, it's like they are majoring in English. They have to study English every semester. But if the every semester have to have English. But for the student who major in, like for example, marketing, is that they don't need to study English like business English. Maybe they have the first year, and then maybe in their third year as the elective course, something like that. They can choose like English for marketing. They also can enroll in this course to study together with business English, because it's the elective course. They are free to choose from, but they don't need like our student to learn a lot like our student.
Okay, so they learn all together to keep up their skills in business.
Yes.
Because it is a
Yes.
business school. Another.
Sorry, I think the signal is not quite well.
Maniti, you were mentioned about that the price of
Sorry, can you say it again? Because I think the signal is, my internet signal is not quite well,
Yes.
maybe.
Is it clear enough for you?
It's quite delay. So can you say it again?
All right. Let me repeat the questions. Yeah, it internet. It's quite delay also in my place.
Yes. It's quite delay, so I can't.
Yeah. I think it is a connection problem in my place. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for that.
It's all right. It's
Is
all
it
right.
okay now? Is it okay now?
Yes. Right now it's okay.
Yeah. You were mentioning that in Thailand, some of private and also private and the government universities are having the teaching or having the faculty of business, and they change the curriculum, not changing, I think developing the curriculum for every 4 years. And
Yes.
do you or do those universities set the same goal for the students? And I was curious that you mentioned them to ready to face the workforce. So do the universities set the same goal for the students, like the profile for the students to be ready for certain, what is it?
Certain sector, business sector.
In Thailand. But you were mentioned that tourism is the major one. Is there any other workforce that become the right now become the, what is it, the main job that people want to go to, so that you have the goal for that?
Okay, so for the main goal of each university in the former time, I think maybe 5 years, 6 years ago, it's quite different. Like some university, they want their student to be in the like English language field, like to be the translator, to be interpreter, something like that. But right now, most of the university have quite the same goals, I think, because I saw from the like announcement when they recruit their student, they will say that when after you finish from business English, you can be translator, you can be businesswoman, international business person, something like that, quite similar. And right now that you ask that what business sector that come up, so the health business sector. Yes, health business sector, like because many hospitality here now, hospital here, hospital here becomes like a big business. Because there are many private hospital here, and it's the big company from like sometimes from abroad invest in the hospital, and they become like a groups of hospital, and they try to do medical tourism. Yes, medical tourism. We want to attract people from other country to be treated in our country. Like for example, that plastic surgery is quite popular here. Yeah. Like in Korea also have plastic surgery, like trips, something like that. You do the plastic surgery, and then while you waiting for your face to be healed, because you do the surgery, right, to be healed, so you can go to travel in the neighboring area, something like that. Also Thailand, we also do something like that. And then many people now wants to work in that business. Like my student now, there are 2 of them choose to do the internship in the hospital.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
becomes the student choices now that they want to do
Yes.
internship in the hospital.
Yes, in the hospital, but they are in the like a
The-
specialized center of the hospital that treat the international patients, and they work in the marketing, in the marketing. And some of them also go to like what do you call beauty center, the beauty center or something like that, because it's a big business here. Like go to the beauty clinic, something like that, to fix on like Botox or something like that. Yeah, the student do work as a receptionist there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So right now, health tourism and health
Health
actually is the
tourism.
health business.
All right.
Uh-huh.
And they are all from the students who learn English. Because
Yes,
they need
business
English to
English.
communicate
Yes,
and to do the business,
yes.
not the health.
Not the
Uh,
health student now. Yes, not only the health student now.
all
Yeah,
right.
because they want us to be like receptionists, but the student, they said that they also have to learn like medical technical terms, because they have to publicize their center, something like that, and then
All right.
it's all medical terms, something like that.
Very interesting and something new.
Yes.
Thank you, Vanity, for very interesting and something new to share with us here. All right. So next, let me go to Puji. Here's some questions, some curiosity. The first one is from Laili to Puji. With the diagram that you have presented, uh, which mention ESP and English for occupational purpose. And since ESP relates with teaching and learning in particular profession, how do we define the difference between those two, ESP and EOP?
This is a very good question. Thank you, Laili. I think like I might need help from Dr. Paniti. I mean, like I'm not doing any research for the ESP, but how I see it. So please correct me or please add to my answer if it's not satisfying. For me, like ESP is still very general. It's not necessarily targeting one specific occupational or like one specific job. If we see it in the umbrella as what Dr. Paniti presented before. So we can say English for specific purposes, but it's not, but it can also targeting different occupations. While for the English for occupational purposes, then we design the course only for the specific occupations. So, for example, like if you want to be a beautician, then this is the occupations. This is the vocational skills. For example, you have the special institution to train for that, then it will be directed for these occupations. While how I see ESP is that for the ESP, it still depends on how you want to tailor. You can still choose for occupations, and it can also cover more than one occupations. This is how I see it. I mean, this is my understanding about how we will distinguish between ESP and EOP. I do not know, what do you think, Dr. Paniti? Does it answer, because your research is more to the ESP, and I mean, like I learned about ESP, I'm kind of like using the ESP, but not necessarily doing a focus on the EOP itself. Okay, so I think like if we see how to distinguish, then I will see which one is broader in terms of the coverage, or like in terms of the target of the skills and the knowledge that we want to give to the students, and that is my basis on I can distinguish between ESP and EOP. Am I answering your question slightly, or do you have any other comment?
That's all right for now. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Puji. Another one question, and later we have some more. Another one question to Ibu Puji or Puji. There are many fields in ESP where it is needed, but there is trends. There are some trends that changing all the time. Then how do we keep up with the changes? How can we keep up with the changes of in ESP context?
Right. Thank you so much for the questions. And I think like these will root back into the needs assessments. So actually, like if we work as a teachers, who are our target learners, and what we want to sell, both in terms of skills and knowledge and academic, and also the markets of our service. Because I mean, like as an institution, as schools, we have a different target. So for example, we are working for the government, then of course, like the students will be considered as a government funded students. But if we are working for the private institutions, we have a specific target customers or students. I mean, like, we are talking about education, we shouldn't talk about customers. But the fact is that we are talking as well about the customers and the changing of the trend. That's a very good question. This is the time that the need assessment is needed. It's not only the need assessment, but also the capacity assessment. If we want to provide something, if we want to offer something, do we need the capacity to do that? And this is the point where the decision should be taken. Because I think like, yes, there are lots of changing, there are lots of demands out there, but do we have the resources? If we do not have the resources, how we can do that? And the second one is how strong is our needs assessment to answer those demands? This is the time that if we want to always answering the demands, then this is the challenge that we need to answer. One good examples of the university in Indonesia that I see, it's very progressive in terms of need assessment and reading the market of the job is BINUS, Bina Nusantara. If we see what programs they are offering now, they are focusing on the STEM. So the science, technology, and mathematics, electronics, and mathematics. And this is exactly that many of the universities in Indonesia are not answering, but the demands in the global market is very high. So for example, they are offering artificial intelligence. How many universities in Indonesia offer these subjects? As a private university, I see them as a very progressive. And then like they are also focusing into this e-commerce. Because now, I mean, like most of the trading are using e-commerce, and also, I mean, like it's done online instead of face to face, instead of the direct one. And this can be also, it can be both opportunities but also challenge. Because if we have the capacity and if we have the capability to do that, then the need assessment, and after that, we can decide how we're going to keep up with the changing. Right, I hope this answered the questions. Because I mean, like, of course, we want to provide as the latest design or the latest technology, but then the questions of need assessment and capacity assessment can be the two bases that we can use.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the current trend is important. Related to the EOP and ESP from the question before, there's a question to Vanity. How do we start designing a course outline for ESP classroom? Do we start from the topic, 3 things they need, then grammar competence, or we start from speaking for communication, dealing with the profession, then polish with the grammar competence? It was question from Diaz Andres. I think you need to mute your microphone. Unmute, sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so thank you for the question. So for myself, from my experience, so I start with the topic first because in the subject outline or the course outline, so we need to have the topic that in there. So I start with the topic that we want to give to the student, to present to the student, and then I look into it that what grammar part that should I need to like develop their skill on that. Like for example, like in English for tourism. So in English for tourism, tourism have many small sector in it. Like in tourism, you have the tour operator, airlines, hotels, transportation. So when I come up with, like, for example, transportation, so I want to teach them about transportation topic. So I look into what kind of communicative skill they need in transportation. For example, like they need to read and they need to write the timetable for each kind of transportation. And also in the timetable, normally we will have the guidelines for the passenger, that how they do. So I pick up some grammar point from that. Like for example, like for the timetable, they will have like present simple tense, something like that, to show that what times that for example, the bus leaves. So the bus leaves at what time, something like that. So I pick up the grammar point, and then I put it into the lesson, something like that, and then let them practice how to make the timetable. Or if we talk about the tour operator provide tour packages for the tourists. So I let them do the make the brochures, tourist brochure, something like that, and then pick some grammar point in the brochure. So in the brochure you have to describe the place, something like that. So from my experience, I do like that.
Yeah. Is it fine with you? But yes, the answer from Panit, I think is quite clear.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Paniti. Thank you.
So is it answer your question, right?
Yes, really.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Paniti. We go to the next question. This is from Pak Amin and to dear Mrs. Puji. Dear Mrs. Puji, you you were mentioning that learners must immerse to learn ESP. So what kind of immersion relate to the teaching language? And your conclusion was know all sizes in one approach. Is it right? He wants to, Amin, ask you a question and also wants to clarify. Mention
Right, yeah.
how to
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pak Amit. I mean, like, I need to clarify, there is a claim that ESP is somehow immersed with a different English teaching learning, but I didn't mention that it is an immersion program. I think like Atkinson and Borges said somehow it is sometimes it is immersed with the content and language integrated learning or something, but it's not necessarily an immersion program. And in my conclusion, it is no all sizes in one approach. It's like, how to say, no one size fits all. Because I think like there is an approach in ESP that one size fits all. It means like you can use one textbook from different publishers, and then it's fitting into your learning. This is something that I want to challenge. we need to do the need assessment with, of course, like with the limitation that I have. So if you mean that no all sizes in one approach, this is for me not very clear. What do you mean? But what I meant is that no one size fits all. It
Oh.
means like not fitting to all the lessons that you want to teach.
All
So for
right.
example, like I'm approaching from one perspective. No, it's not like that. Yeah. I hope that it is clarified, Pak Amin.
Thank you very much. It's very clear.
Most welcome.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Uji, for the very clear explanation. And I think, yeah, we need to find the fit to meet the needs of the students to cope with the certain skills. All right, thank you, Puji. Another question. This is from Dias Andres. Puji, teaching ESP versus general English is something overlapping. As the teacher of English, a general English, he means general English. Teaching English is non-English department in context of ESP, but we focus on general English. How do we integrate both of them into ESP classroom? It means that we are the English teacher. We teach in different departments, but we teach them the general English. So how do we can integrate them, both general English and the English for specific purpose in the classroom?
Right.
Give
So
us
first
some
of all,
ideas for that.
right. Thank you so much, Ikhlas. First of all, I would like to congratulate Dias because you have two jobs now.
Thank you.
We all
Thank
do.
you.
Teaching the general English and the ESP. Right. I mean, like, I'm sorry, this is just a joke. But how to say, in most cases, in the country where the English is not the medium of teaching, these problems occurs. So I think like I would also to cite what Dr. Paniti has mentioned before, like one of her strategy is first to map the need of the students, and then she decide first what grammar do they need. Which means like first she's touching the general English and not necessarily doing the ESP first. For me, ideally, when students learn ESP, they have some basis of the general English, so then they will be able to continue further with the specific purposes of the English itself, so they can perform better. But because you have two responsibilities to teach them general English, so then they will be able to do the ESP. The integration, this is just one of ideas that you can do, is that still doing the grammar, even if it is the simple one, but adding the vocabularies or like different terminologies for their specific purposes. I mean, like, this is still polishing and correcting the linguistic errors, but do we have other options? This is the question that we need to ask ourselves. Because again, like the English ability of the students, especially for the general English, is the basis for the ESP. And I would say it would be very difficult to force them to learn ESP when they do not have the basis of the general English. Dr. Paniti, do you have other opinion about this?
For me, I think I agree with you that the student will have to learn some general English. Like for myself, they are tertiary students, so they have some basic knowledge about, like, for the present simple, they also know that, but maybe because of they are Thai and normally when they in their daily life they use Thai language, so they don't use much of English. So sometimes they forget forget it. So when they learn like ESP course, we just only to remind them about this kind of grammar, this kind of grammar, and also like to actually for the grammar itself they have level, right? They have level. So like present simple itself, they have present simple for like primary, present simple for secondary that they have to learn. So for the tertiary, we put some more information in this level for them. That's the ESP that I taught, maybe.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Now, there's another, I think it's statement from Matthias again. I think it's a statement. Is that true for Paniti, Pujiati? Teaching ESP needs a great deal of effort since we need to strongly understand the context of its reading with the current issue, for example, cryptocurrency that we have heard before. As English teacher, we need to know it more than we teach it in the reading context, because Matthias is have the two jobs, general English teacher, but he teaches in different fields. So, is it true that we need more effort to teach the general English, but also we have to learn something beyond our knowledge of language? How is it, Paniti, Sujiati? Can you give your opinion on this?
So for myself, I do think like I try to study what I am interested in also. Like, so for myself, I have the background in tourism, so I am interested in tourism. So it's not like a burden, or it's not like a difficulty for me to study some more about tourism, because I have a background and I am interested in. So it's fun to follow the trends of it, to talk with my friends. And maybe when you heard that, oh, you have to know both the content and the English, but actually, so as the English teacher, sometimes you need to know not in-depth information of that context, not the in-depth, maybe like I said, that you just can touch on it, but you need to know some of it. But the easiest way is to firstly, maybe you talk to the content teachers. So you talk to them like a friend, like chit chat, and you just ask in the point that you don't understand, something like that. But the way that I sit into my friends class, because I want to remind my knowledge about accounting as well. So that's why I do that. But actually, you can just only ask the content teacher about some points that you are not understand, or you are not quite clear, because the student themselves sometimes they didn't work in that field. Luckily that we teach the student that are undergrads. So undergrads, they quite have no experience in the real life workplace, so they don't know much about that subject. But if you teach the one who have experience in it, sometimes in one class, maybe the one who go to work and they study like they're in the night class, something like that, to yes, that will be the big problem, because they will have many questions. But you can say like in real life, I can say like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that, but I will find the answer for you later, something like that. This is my excuse to them, that I don't know at that time, but I will find out, and then I will remember that, and then that will accumulate your knowledge about the content.
Right.
The student will understand that we are teacher, we are not working in the workplace, in the real workplace. We don't know, sometimes we don't know what they do in their real life. So they understand us, but for the undergrads, they don't know much. That's our luck.
So it takes effort as well as excuses
Yeah, sometimes you have to like, yeah, something like this. You have to use the trick.
Yeah. Thank you, Vanity. Any other perspective?
Right. I agree with Vanity that teacher, of course, like when we see from the word teacher, we need to teach. But I think like there is also another role of teacher, which is like facilitating the learner, the learnings. And if we focus into the learner center and not anymore the teacher center, we can actually utilize the students to do their own research. For example, like I do not know anything about cryptocurrency. I can say like collect at least one articles that is interesting for you about cryptocurrency and we discuss this in the classroom and learn all the vocabularies beforehand. So I think like shifting the responsibility for them to also do it by themselves is also good for them because then they can critically approach their own learning and somehow as a teachers, if we know the whole world, if we should know the whole world, no one wants to be a teacher, but yes. I mean, like I give you my respect because you do it so far with the general English and the ESP. But again, like I think like we can utilize the learner center and also like to empower them to kind of like help themselves with their learning. We facilitate the learning. They can do themselves and we also learn together with them as a teacher, which in my opinion is it's also improving our knowledge and skills in this sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Also, sometimes we can let our student be our teacher in some points as well, like as an information source, because something they know more than us. We can ask them. We can talk to them, I think, and it will make a better relationship between student and teacher as well, because they know that we don't know everything like cryptocurrency, like you said, that my student is better than me because they do invest in that and they know a lot. So sometimes we just talk with them, just do the chit chat, and then they like, and they also feel very, very happy to share with us. Something like that.
Okay, good idea. And thank you for the engaging discussion. And to the participants, ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to type down your questions, or we still invite you to jump into our discussion today. We have around 10 minutes to go. So we still open for the question or statement or sharing some experience in teaching general English or ESP. All right, we still have questions that written before on the chat box that I have sum up for now. This one is from Ibu Sita. The question is ESP. What is the main goal of teaching ESP? Is it focusing on speaking or other skills, or it should be integrated? Yeah, this is for the question from Ibu Siti Lestari to Paniti. She asked the goal of ESP. Is it focusing? Well, maybe she means that when we teach ESP, is it focusing on the speaking or other skills, or it should be integrated?
Actually, it should be integrated, but sometimes depends on the topics as well. Like for example, depends on the job. Sorry, can you hear me? I think your signal is delayed. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We can.
Okay, so I think integrated is better, but sometimes depends on the jobs. Maybe on the jobs that the student work, specific process, like for example, like tour guide mostly use speaking and listening. They also do reading, but for the reading, it's just only for the way they search for the information. But mainly their job is speaking and listening. So maybe in that course, we focus on more on speaking and listening rather than reading and writing. But if for the student who do the who wants to be the translator, so that's one. The translator are more focused on like reading and writing, right? To translate from English to Thai, Thai to English. So they need to learn more on writing and reading, something like that, or just maybe on writing more than reading as well, something like that. Sometimes we adapt it to the course, to the topic that we teach. We cannot say that speaking more than listening or reading more than writing. It depends on what jobs they do. So what purposes that they use the language for. So it depends on the jobs. Does it answer your questions? So where are maybe the moderator got problem with her internet signal, I think.
Yeah, sorry, I was
Okay.
Out of the screen. Yeah, thank you, Paniti. Ibu Siti Lestari. Is it answering the questions or enough for you, or you need to say some more?
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Ajeng and Dr. Paniti. Yeah, I think it's clear enough.
Okay.
The next question, can I ask you?
Yes, please.
Yeah. What about the content of ESP? As we know that most of us are not practitioners, how could we arrange the material of that subject?
Can you give me like for example that what kind of subject you want to teach?
Okay. Suppose we want to teach about tourism. In this case, we do not know the background of the tourism here. So how to arrange the content of the ESP subject?
So maybe you need to find out first that what inside tourism, like for example, like how many sectors in tourism, something like that. So sometimes you need to find like resources, like a books or something like that about what is tourism, introduction to tourism, something like that. But we don't read the whole chapter, the whole book. We maybe need only the first chapter or something like that to get some idea. Like for myself, like I read and then I saw that in tourism there are many small sectors in that. Like there will have to be combination of like transportation for the services. Tourist services will be the tour operator, and then tourist services also the accommodation. So it's the hotel and accommodation, and the tourists need to eat, right? They need to eat. So another one is restaurant, something like that. So when we know that, you can break it into the chapters in one course, and after that you look into what is you can put yourself into that context. Like for example, if you be the tourist, what you want to have the service with inside the tourism, something like that. You want to have the tour guide, so maybe we have the chapter about tour guiding, something like that. That's the way. The first, so you search for the content in just only in the introduction or something like that, and then you find out more. And sometimes it's the easiest way. Sometimes you put yourself into that point. Like if you are the tourist, what do you want when you travel? So you want to travel to one places. What kind of transport you want to choose from? Trains, bus, or airplane, something like that. And then you can break it down into the chapter. Is it answer your question?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
if it's not clear, you can tell me and then I can explain more.
Yeah, thanks, I think. It's enough.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Vanity. It is a very, interesting discussion. And one last question for Uchi. It deals with the material. Into what extent, as you see it, is it problematic, or we just can use what is it, the material, or we can use the same material over and over, because we know that in ESP we have what is it, it's very dynamic. You said it's very dynamic, it changes all the time. Can we use is there any limitation of the reuse of existing material? Is it will be problematic?
I thank you for the questions. I think like we should go back to the need assessment and what are the demands of the labor market or the target of our ESP learning. So for example, we are targeting the like the job market that we are targeting is to be a receptionist in a beautician, like in the plastic surgery clinics. So if we are using the same materials since 10 years ago, do we think that our teaching will still be suitable with the market? I think one of the reasons why Dr. Paniti is always reviewing the curriculum every 4 or 5 years is because the changing is needed. The changes are needed. And this is to answer the demands of the market. With the changing of the needs, it means that the material should be also adjusted. So if you are using the same materials again and again and again and again, because of a certain reasons, you should also ask your question, are the materials still relevant at the moment to answer the needs of the students and the labor market? So I would say you have to do the questions to yourselves, to your teaching, learning activities, and kind of like see, is it still relevant or not? What kind of changing I need to make for the materials? And again, for example, 3 years ago, we do not have COVID, and suddenly COVID is there. Can we use the same materials? We do not have students in front of us. We need to change the materials. Yeah. So there might be still possibility of the relevance, but this is something that we need to see and we need to research further. Are the materials still relevant with the now situation and conditions? That's my answer.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the answer, for the very wide knowledge, new knowledge that we get from the two great speakers today, Paniti Amatayakul, PhD, and Pujiarti, PhD. I think we come to the last session of our discussion of our seminar today. So if I can make conclusion of this discussion today, that ESP has a very wide perspective. We can teach, we can learn English in the classroom for the academic needs, but ESP also have a wide range in the need of a real life context. So learning English, the general English only is not enough. We can have some more. We can have, if we learn ESP, then we can prepare ourselves, prepare our students to be able to face the real life, to face the world changing. So ESP, I think is very highly demanded for us as the teacher and also for our students in the future. All right, the last session we have come to the last session for this today's seminar and also conclusion. We would like to thank the two speakers, Paniti and also Pujiati. Hopefully we can have another, we can meet in another occasion of in different situation, maybe offline meeting or a live discussion. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sharing the knowledge with us, and to all the participants, we would like to thank you for the for your participation today. Hopefully, we will meet again on the next installment, the 6th installment that will come next month. Hopefully.
No, it's in August.
Oh, on August. Thank you, Aini. Yeah. Okay. This is the closing session of the symposium. Thank you again, Paniti and Pujiati, and all the participants. See you on the next installment on August.
Okay, thank you.
As the moderator, would like to thank you a lot. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, Miao. Thank you, Paniti. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Puji. Bye-bye.
Bye.